Hey everybody, it's Dr. Aaron Kowalski, JDRF's Chief Mission Officer. We're coming up on the end of the fiscal year, and I want to talk about progress. This year we've seen so many amazing achievements, but it's also important to step back and see how far we've come and how your support is so important in achieving our mission and curing type 1 diabetes. When you're living day to day with diabetes, sometimes it's hard to take a step back and say, are we really making progress? When my brother and I started with type 1, my brother was diagnosed in 1977, we used insulins that were made from cow and pig insulin. And they were hard, they were unpredictable. Today we have great fast-acting insulins, we have great long-acting insulins, and JDRF is committed to smart insulins, faster-acting insulins, and incredible improvements on that front. I have friends who used syringes back in the day that were boiled. They had to be sharpened on grinding wheels, which is amazing. Today, I use an insulin pump. And you think about insulin pump history. The original prototypes were backpacks. Some people wore what were called blue bricks that were large and they pulled your pants low as you wore them on your belt. Today, we have small pumps, we have touchscreen pumps, they communicate with cell phones. It's amazing the progress we're making on that front, and we're driving towards artificial pancreas systems. When we first started, my brother and me, with diabetes, my brother did urine testing. My first Lancet machine we called the guillotine. And the readings took 2 to 3 minutes to get a reading, and they came in 60-unit increments. Today, my brother and I use a CGM, and it's been transformational. Reduced our amounts of lows and highs, and I'm so proud of the work JDRF has done in that field. We're seeing those devices become more and more accurate. We are seeing them become smaller and smaller. And it's not a cure, but these treatments are so much better than we had years ago. About 30 years ago, we learned that infusing islets into a person could cure their type 1 diabetes. And I use air quotes because it still required immunosuppression. And there aren't enough of those islets to go around. Today, we have renewable sources of islets that make insulin in response to glucose. While not a cure, these could be solutions that could restore normal blood sugar for up to a year or 2 years at a time, which is super exciting. And years ago, we thought that when you had type 1 diabetes, your beta cells were completely gone. Through amazing research over the last decade, we now know that even people like my brother and me who've had diabetes a long time, their pancreases are probably always trying to regenerate cells. Unfortunately, the immune system is killing those cells. If we could stop this, we could get to the ultimate cure for type 1 diabetes. Prevention of diabetes is a top priority for us at JDRF. And in the past, we had no idea who was going to get the disease. Now we know we can predict people who are at risk and start to develop therapies that could prevent or slow the progression of type 1 diabetes. These advances have made a huge difference in my brother and my life, but they're not enough, and I don't think anybody out there would argue that we've solved the problem of type 1 diabetes. But JDRF is supporting amazing progress. I'm going to talk about the top advances over our last fiscal year that are driving us to better treatments and ultimately our end goal, a cure for type 1 diabetes. People with type 1 diabetes lose the ability to make insulin, obviously. These are cells called beta cells. And we're trying to help beta cells regenerate. One amazing series of advances this year has been coaxing cells in the pancreas, we call them alpha cells, to change teams, so to speak. And this is a way that we hope in the future we can help people with type 1 regenerate the ability to make insulin and regulate blood sugar more normally. This year we saw amazing research from Boston looking at stopping the immune response to implanted medical devices. One area of focus of ours is encapsulation, and this work could help make sure that encapsulation, that when we put those devices in, that they work for a long time. It also could be applicable to infusion sets. Could we make infusion sets last longer than 3 days? Or CGM devices, could we make them work for 2 weeks or even a month at a time? This is really exciting work that has broad applicability coming out of Boston. One of the studies I'm most excited about right now is called FRIDA. It's run by an amazing doctor, Annette Ziegler, in Bavaria, which is southern Germany. It's a prevention trial, and they're looking at the general population of children in this region. But in these kids, what they've been able to do is stop them from developing DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis, which can be life-threatening. This is an amazing result. It's not only important in prevention, but it's stopping this complication from happening. We're really excited that we're now launching a similar pilot study here in the United States. I've been working on the artificial pancreas project at JDRF for over 10 years, and this year we hit a major milestone. The FDA approved the first system that automatically doses insulin, the Medtronic 670G system. This has been a decade of work. We have a system that reduces A1C levels, reduces hypoglycemia, and makes life a little bit easier. We have a number of other systems in the pipeline which we are super excited about. This is because of people like you and an amazing research community from all over the world. My brother and I have benefited tremendously from CGM, but to get CGM you need access, and for over the last decade, people in the Medicare population haven't had access. This January, through tremendous advocacy by JDRF and other partners, we had a landmark decision, and now Medicare is covering CGM. This is so important for people to have access and to achieve better outcomes, which is a true win for the T1D community. Wow, we've made amazing progress in the 40 years since my brother and I were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. This year was an incredible year for research progress, the best that I've seen in the 13 years that I've been at JDRF. We're gonna have a hybrid closed loop on the market, and that's super exciting. That said, we haven't achieved our ultimate goal, which is a cure. But we're making incredible strides. And it's because of people like you. We're gonna get there. You're all T1D champions, and I'm so proud to be part of the JDRF team. Thank you.